There's a painting, HAR number 59963, and it's really quite a wonderful example of late Kynri style painting. Now, the central figure is not so important at this time. What it is it's a fellow named Chokyi Nyingje, and he was a prior incarnation of Jetsun Taranaka, one of the important teachers and luminaries of the Jonangpa tradition, and he lived basically the late 1500s into the 1600s, I think up to about 1640, 45, something like that. Um, it's easy to look up his dates. And so this is from a set of paintings that is believed to have originated at Jonang Monastery, and they would have been painted in the early 17th century, so the early 1600s, when Jonang Taranaka was residing there and building. He was actually building his new monastery. The monastery is on the side of the river, and farther above that is the original Jonang Monastery and the large stupa. I believe it's a nunnery at this time, the one above. The one below, Taranata's Jonang Takten Punsokling, is actually a Gelugpa monastery. It was taken over by the Gelug tradition and the Mongols in the mid 17th century, during the time of the great fifth Dalai Lama. Now, what's important about this painting and the series of paintings, and we know that most of the set exists, but two of the paintings have become separated, and then the others, I believe, remain intact in India. And they came out probably mid 20th century. They came out of Tibet from this Takten Punsokling Jonang Monastery. But what we're looking at is this large central figure with a very large pink or reddish halo, and in the Kynri style of painting, the halos can be very large and they can also be transparent. They're the folks that kind of originated the transparent kind of halo. Now, in the upper right corner, the viewer's right, we have a form of the goddess Ekajati. And this is coming out of the Druptop Gyatso, or the Druptop Gyatso. In Sanskrit, a newer edited version from the 1920s is called the Sadhanamala. And this is a form of Ekajati with one face, four arms. She's a wrathful female deity holding a sword, a curved knife, a skull cup, and then I believe she's holding a flower. And different books will say sometimes a different name for the flower, but it's usually a lotus. In the bottom center, we have another female figure, and one face, two arms, holding upraised a spear, and then some kind of a secondary spear or trident in the left hand, and wearing a black cloak. And this figure is actually unidentified at this time in terms of who she actually is. Now, there is a name, an inscription, but it's not that helpful. It just says Hara Siddhi, Harassiddhi, Hara Siddhi, but that's not clear as to who that's referring to. It's possible it's another version of Ekajati, but it's unclear at this time. Now, note the Ekajati at the top. Note the perfect circle of red, the red halo around her, and then how the flames are following the outline of the circle. And then note with the figure below that the halo behind is more oval. It's not a perfect circle, but note again how the licks of flames are just sort of framing her, but not framing her completely. She's not engulfed by flame. So these are all characteristics of the Kynri painting style and for doing iconography. Now, in terms of the tree and then the bush or the plant or the vine that's growing up alongside the tree, and this is all borrowed. This is Chinese art, and this is borrowed coming in from Yongle period from the 15th century, but it's also because Kensei Chenmo, the artist, the founder of the Kyenri style of painting school. He actually traveled to China and observed a lot of different Chinese techniques and styles. But also observe the clouds, observe the sky, and also the water. We have a water feature in front with some small islands. But take note that there is actually a lot of negative space in this painting. Negative space is also a main characteristic of Kyenri style painting. And a lot of these characteristics are what were borrowed later by Situ Penshin Chokyi Nyingje when he created his own Palpong style painting, which is misidentified and misnamed as Karmagadri, which is not the case. It's a Palpong style that's based on Kyenri painting. Anyway, we'll look at some of the other paintings from this series at another time. So you can press like, you can subscribe. You especially should join HAR on Patreon, because that's also where we get a majority of our funding from to support the work we do. And you can join for free, you can join for $3, you can join for $5 a month. But more importantly, just to join, we have some videos and we have information that's made available for free. You don't have to be a paid member.